Today it's time for us to think about the future of guitar modeling. If you are following my YouTube channel on a regular basis, and I hope you do so, you may know that I'm a big fan of modeling units. I'm playing high gain tones, offer high gain preset packs for all the modeling units on the market. By the way, if you want to get my preset packs, please contact me on Facebook or Instagram. You find the links in the description below. But now I'm at a point where I really cannot find out which unit I really would like to have or to get next and check out. And of course, if you could give me a hint or some information about something which is worth checking out, please leave a comment below. But today I would like to share my thoughts about the future of modeling in general. Because it's been a while where I got a modeling unit that really impressed me that much regarding the pure sound quality. And that led me think to what can we expect sound-wise? What can we expect anywhere in the future from modeling units? So I started my journey with modeling units. Actually got an old, I have it here, Line 6 Pod XT. I think it was the first one which I got. I did some recording with it. I wasn't that impressed with it, to be honest. And I was always using my analog gear, which was Engel mostly. Then I got a more expensive Mesa Triaxis 290 combination. I was very happy with that until I got the first AxeFx. And that was, well, the groundbreaking unit for me, because that was the first unit that sounded good in a recording environment, recording situation. It also sounded good live through a front of house. And that was the first modeling unit that I could play straight to front of house and got good results, although it needed a lot of tweaking. Then the next step sound-wise was the Fractal Audio AxeFx II, which I got then. I also got the Kemper at the same time. But at that time I wasn't really convinced by the Kemper, because the pure quality of the sounds, it was not on the level like the Fractal Audio AxeFx II, in my opinion. And after that, I played the AxeFx II for a couple of years. I was really happy with that. But the next time which I got a unit that was better than the AxeFx II sound-wise was the AxeFx III. And that was not a huge step sound-wise. It was just, yeah, I don't know. I can really not name it what it was. But when I got it and I dialed in my preset, it instantly sounded a little bit more even regarding the frequency range, a little bit more right in the ear. I think there were maybe some areas which are more realistic. And of course they improved their algorithms over the years, so it sounds much better now. Same was the case with the Kemper. So the Kemper nowadays, it sounds way better than when I got it. I still have it. Did a video recently. But still, for me, the leading product on the market is the Fractal Audio AxeFx III. So I have that. I also have the Fractal Audio FM9, which is sound-wise more or less the same. And I'm talking about sound quality, not about the features, because feature-wise, most of the units, they differ slightly or heavily. Yeah. So AxeFx III, still the leading product sound-wise on the market for me. The only things which are nowadays competitive to the AxeFx III regarding the sound are the newer DSP products, in my opinion. I also have the Quad Cortex. It sounds a little bit different from the Fractal Audio. Both brands seem to have their own, I don't know how to call it, but they have to seem to have their own sound style. So the Quad Cortex, the amps, they sound a little bit more open to me. As the Fractal Audio, they sound a little bit more mid-heavy to me. But both, I would consider both to be on the similar level, if not the same level. Also the plugins by Mooer DSP. So sound-wise, these are the leading products for me. And I think many people will agree that they sound best. So this is the sound of my Fractal Audio FM9. And I have also the Boss GT-1000, the leading product by Boss. Sounds also great, but it's still not there like the Fractal Audio. Also the Kemper is similar, but not quite there. Headrush Prime can do great cloning, which I will talk about in a second. And with clones, it can also come close sound-wise to the AxeFx, but not regarding the effects. So what can we expect in the future? In my opinion, the newer DSP and Fractals, these units, they sound way better than most of the original analog amps that I own. And of course, it's different if you play something through studio monitors versus playing through a 4x12. But also these units can be tweaked to sound kick-ass through 4x12. And I personally got better tones now going straight in front of the house and tweak my units to be used in that situation than to be used through a 4x12 conventional guitar speaker. So what can we really expect? I am skeptical that there will be huge step ups sound-wise. Because as I said, the amp sounds, cab sounds, it's already there in my opinion. It's not only there, in my opinion, they sound better than most of the analog gear. You can make analog gear sound kick-ass in a recording situation, in a live situation, but it needs a lot of effort. And especially with tube amps, it depends on so many factors like the voltage, you have the how the tubes are heating up and how they are matched, and something how old the tubes are, how the stage's resonance is interfering with the speaker that you're miking. So yeah, well, for me, it's modeling is definitely the future. But I was really thinking about what can really improve. And my opinion is, in the future, maybe there will be improvements regarding the capturing cloning processes of these units. As I said, the Kemper, I still have the Kemper Mark I, but with the latest firmware, and now it can create captures or profiles, as it's called in the Kemper universe, that sound really close to the source, which wasn't the case when I got it 10 years ago. Then it was maybe 70–80% of the source, but now it's 99.9%. Same with the Headrush Prime, it has a great cloning function, and in most cases, I was cloning, for example, my sounds from the Fractal Audio AxeFx, and then the Headrush Prime suddenly sounds, at least amp-wise, close to the AxeFx III. Same with the newer DSP, comes with great captures, great clones, but it can also, you can also create your own clones, and it's working. And also the profiling and clone function, they're so close now, and I think there's not that much room for improvements. So what can we expect then? If sound-wise the amps are already there, the effects are also there, at least in the high-end units. Of course, the units with less processing power, they do have less CPU for effects, and therefore the effects, they don't sound like high-end effects like in the AxeFx or the newer DSP. And let me show you the editor of the FM9. For example, here we have the amp block, and you have this many parameters here you can adjust. So also tweaking wise, I mean, what else can be there, can be done to improve that? You have an input and output EQ in each amp, and also you have a long list of amps that comes with the unit, 330. It's way more, I think, than any other unit is bringing. Different channels of different amps. I mean, of course, maybe we can have 400, but would that be an improvement for most people? I mean, if you cannot get your tones with these 330, then probably you will not get a good result with 400 amps. Same with the cap section. Here, Factory 2, for example, as you can see, you have 2,800 or something here, IRs. Way too much for my taste, because I mean, who needs 2,000 of these? Or I don't know if these are really 2,000, but maybe it's not 2,000. Maybe it's 700, 600, 800, 900. I don't know. I didn't count them, but still the pure number seems to be high. Oh, sorry, no, I changed my tone completely. By the way, I was playing one preset out of my preset pack for that unit and for the AxeFx. So the pure number of amps, it's all there, and also the effects. I mean, you can see here is, I don't know, everything I can imagine. So also regarding the effects, we've reached a point, I think, where it's hard to improve that category. What can be improved is, I think, the pure usability of these units. And AI is doing a good job in most others, well, in other fields. So when I'm using a PC and I'm searching for something, or when I'm automating workflows, and there are quite a lot of AI agents out there which can do the job. There's nothing there in the world of guitar modeling units. Or almost nothing. There are some things which go in that direction. For example, the AI EQ in the Mooer GE300, but still, that is not what I would call an AI. So there could be done way more. Maybe the Helix Stadium will bring some of that, but I think that's definitely the direction where we will see some improvements in the future in the guitar modeling units, so that there is some AI helping you to create your tones. Tone matching can be done with that much easier than with the more technical parameters you have to know in some of these units. Although the processing or the capturing function in most of the units, it's also well explained. Of course, especially in the Fractal universe and the Kemper universe, the user interfaces on the units can be improved. So I'm expecting them to get way better graphical user interfaces. But yeah, sound-wise, I don't know if we will see huge upgrades in the future. What also will happen is, I think, with the NAMM amps, this open profile for cloned amps, effects, and caps, which can be loaded in most of the modeling units nowadays. So the people don't need expensive hardware, software to create amp clones and to share them. In the future, also some platforms, maybe hardware platforms that are exclusively for to be used with NAM amps and with open source well, software running on that. Might be a big competitor to the market leading brands now. So that can happen. And also, of course, there are a lot of the cheaper, smaller units, which sound great. But sound-wise, they're not better than the leading products on the market. They're just units with less features for a smaller price. So, for example, these Kemper Profiler Player or the QC Mini. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the smaller effect. I'm also thinking about who really needs these small-sized effects that can only do, well, a quarter of the things that the flagship units can do. Because for a professional live musician or a recording musician, also semi-professional, I mean, you don't know what you need in a certain situation in the future, and therefore I would always go for the flagship unit by a company. People are spending thousands of euros on expensive guitars, and compared to that, the price of a quad Cortex, it's not that high. I mean, it's 1,800 or 1,600 euro nowadays, and well, people are paying that for an amp with a cab or just for the guitar. I would get the Line 6 Helix Stadium this year, but other than that, I don't know. Maybe I would check out some of the smaller units, but I don't see anything where I'm interested to, or where I'm expecting to be surprised. Maybe the Helix Stadium, of course, because I didn't try it. I hope so. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of a stagnation on the modeling unit market. That's it for today. Hope this helps you. See you.